When will y'all learn your lesson? I keep saying it, and I'm gonna keep saying it. Stay out of the ocean. Sailors made a chilling discovery in the middle of the ocean. Let's go.
A camera-shy, strange, wake-producing phenomenon. And now, to add fuel to the mystery up there, two respected, not crazy fishermen have videotaped something.
A mysterious sea
Big
creature
iceberg.
was just spotted off the coast of North Carolina, and it's got a lot of people scratching their heads.
This is a carryover of something that should have been dead 65 million years ago.
Cruising across the vast ocean promises a lot of thrilling adventures.
It's Titanic!
From 1 in a million sightings to heart-stopping encounters with legendary entities. Here are the most amazing discoveries made by sailors in the middle of the ocean. New birth. Some seismologists were in the wide expanse of the ocean, just observing the Earth, when suddenly they witnessed a 1 in a million moment in nature. Before their very eyes, a mountain emerged from the sea. This was the creation of a whole new island right then and there. Now I know what you're thinking. How in the world did something like that happen? Well, according to the experts, it was all thanks to the activities going on under the crust of the Earth. It's like nature's own magic trick. And let me tell you, phenomena like this are as rare as finding a pearl in an oyster. And those dudes had witnessed it loud and clear. Now that's what I call a front row seat to Mother Nature's spectacular show. Iceberg.
See, that's the part we don't think about happening right there. I talk about that and say that all the time. That part, the underwater volcanoes that we don't know about.
Titanic!
Now, you've probably heard of the Titanic, right? Well, buckle up because we're about to witness another chilling encounter with an iceberg.
We just hit an iceberg!
A cruise ship was sailing through the icy waters, blissfully unaware of the danger lurking just beneath the surface. Sounds familiar? Yeah, it was like straight out of the movie, and that sneaky iceberg decided to play a game of hide and seek. First, giving the ship a little nudge, and then bam, popping up right in front of everyone's eyes. I bet every soul on board must have felt that bone-chilling realization that they had narrowly escaped a fate like the Titanic.
I'd have been hyperventilating.
Mermaids' callings.
This is crazy. I heard it. I heard it. I hear it.
A sailor was ready to wrap up a day when suddenly he heard something eerie, chilling sounds echoing from the depths of the ocean, as if something or someone was calling out to him.
I hear him. Where's she at?
Now here it got really spooky. Many believed it might have been sirens of those mythical mermaids of the sea that call sailors to their demise, while some reckoned it could have just been dolphins known to make similar noises. Either way, imagine being out there, alone, on the vast expanse of the ocean, hearing that. Sea lions invasion. Sometimes sea creatures put on a show that leaves everyone breathless. Take this for example. In 2018, some tourists were on the waves enjoying the salty breeze when they found themselves amid a sea lion party. But wait, the footage showed not just sea lions, but feasting humpback whales joining the party too. Dozens of whales in pods teamed up with the sea lions to chow down on some tasty anchovies. According to the tour guide, this kind of feeding frenzy was pretty rare, and it was pretty wild to see. It was a thrill for tourists, and all of us too, who knew the ocean could put on a show like this. Whale's birth. A group of fishermen were fishing in Cape Town when suddenly nature decided to put on a show like no other. Hundreds of dolphins swirling in the water caught their attention, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. Soon they found out that a whale was giving birth right in front of them. And those dolphins? Well, But they weren't just there for show. They were circling around to keep any
Protection.
pesky predators at bay, ensuring the
Protection.
mama whale and her newborn were safe and sound. Moments like these remind us just how incredible nature could be, and how even the most unexpected allies can come together to help each other out. Unidentified catch. This crazy video went viral about a decade ago, and apparently it had the potential to solve the mystery of mermaids. Here's what happened. A sailor was taking a nap in his cabin when he heard a lot of noise and shouting from his fellow sailors. He quickly grabbed his camera and went out to see what all the fuss was about. Turns out they had just caught something in their net. But when they pulled it up, the net broke, and the creature slipped back into the sea. All they managed to catch on camera was a quick glimpse of a claw. Some people thought it was fake, but others believed it was proof that mermaids could be real. Mummified sailor. In 2016, a group of sailors was in the middle of the ocean when they spotted something that got them frozen on the waves. Floating eerily in the water was an abandoned boat in poor condition. Seeing this, they decided to investigate.
Ok, je descends dans le bateau, après il y a personne à bord.
But what they found inside shook them to the core. It was the mummified body of a sailor, perfectly preserved in the salty sea air. Without wasting a moment, they reported it to the authorities, and soon investigations kicked into high gear. Turned out this poor soul was none other than Manfred Bigerat, last seen way back in 2009. Some suggested that he met his demise with a heart attack, but the exact reason is still a mystery. Bubbling mystery. In 2022, the Danish Defense Command dropped some new video footage that showed bubbles coming up out of the depths of the Baltic Sea, like there could be a massive underwater opening. Now, here's where it got really interesting. Turned out that this was the gas leaking from two Nord Stream pipelines under the Baltic Sea. Both of them were pipelines for transporting gas between Russia and Europe, and experienced major leaks almost at the same time. Coincidence? Well, some analysts suggested the leaks might have been caused deliberately by a sneaky act of sabotage. So, who was behind it? What was their game? Well, it looks like we've got ourselves a real-life whodunit on our hands. Meg encounter. Back in 2013, chilling footage was filmed somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean. It was a calm, serene night out in the water, and a group of buddies was filming the moon's reflection. All seemed peaceful until something caught their eye. It was a massive whale casually cruising through the waves. But hold on, because here things took a terrifying turn. Out of nowhere, a behemoth of a fish, twice the size of the whale, emerged from the depths, lifted that poor whale and dragged it to the depths. What was that? Viewers pointed out possibilities of Megalodon, and this was the proof of its existence, while some believed it was edited.
Yeah, I think it's edited, but I do think that's how it would go down, though. You know what I mean? That whale don't stand a chance with Megalodon. So I believe that's how it go down, but yeah, I think that video is definitely a hoax.
Boating house. A group of sailors was on their boat when one of them spotted something out of the ordinary bobbing in the water. As they drew closer, they realized it was not just any old thing. It was a house just chilling out in the middle of the ocean. But the question is, how on earth did a house end up there? Well, the netizens have a theory. Maybe it got caught up in fast winds and got swept away like a leaf. Whatever the
There's something you
reason
don't see
was,
every
one
day.
thing is for sure, you never know what you'll find out there in that big blue. Feeding frenzy.
Wow.
This tale will have you on the edge of your seat. A group of researchers were observing marine life in the middle of the sea, studying basking sharks, when suddenly they noticed something that was about to take their research to a whole new level. A feeding frenzy of sharks and seabirds, all converging on a whale carcass. Now, that was not something you see every day. They couldn't even tell when the giant whale had met its demise. But one thing's for sure, the frenzy was a sight to behold. And while it might give you chills, it was just nature doing its thing in its most raw, great showdown. A stunning wildlife moment was caught on camera. in which a predator became prey when an orca took down a great white shark with a massive blow. Now, we all know great white sharks are the stuff of legends, but when it comes to power, these killer whales aren't messing around. They are famous for their hostile behavior towards sharks. Scientists believe that climate change might be causing them to adapt their hunting behaviors. So while we might think of great whites as the top predators of the ocean, it turns out these killer whales are giving them a run for their money.
That great white ain't even have time to even think about a strategy to move or anything. Them whales, them killer whales are gangsters, bro.
Meditation.
I think that's a whale tail. It's just come up and stuck its tail up and it's not going anywhere.
A boater was cruising along the ocean in his trusty transparent boat when out of nowhere he spotted something massive. A whale gracefully emerged from the depths, its tail gently swaying in the water. Intrigued by this majestic creature, he decided to inch closer for a better look, and that's when he noticed it. A tiny baby whale swimming alongside its mammoth parent. But why was this giant doing this? Well, according to the experts, this seemingly serene moment might be a case of whale meditation. Whales, especially the wise old sperm whales, had this unique sleeping habit called vertical sleeping. In this way, they conserve energy while still getting their breaths in. Now that's what I call a whale of a bedtime routine.
Acts so weird. It's just come up and put its tail up in the air like that. It's not even... I don't even know what to say anymore.
Whales breach. Sailors on the open seas in the majestic sight of whale beachings. Now, that's usually a beautiful moment, but sometimes things take a shaky or bumpy turn. Have a look at this incident. Some sailors were enjoying the whale breaches when suddenly out of nowhere, one of those massive creatures decided to make a grand entrance and ended up bumping right into them on the spot.
See, that's the part they don't tell you in the tour guide.
I guess they must have gone a bit too close to its feeding area and the whale got too enthusiastic. Sometimes nature's beauty can catch you off guard in the most unexpected ways. Shark's party.
Oh my.
A couple was sailing off the coast of Louisiana, hoping to reel in some tuna for dinner when they stumbled upon something truly bizarre. As they scanned the horizon for signs of their elusive prey, they were greeted by an unexpected sight. A shiver of sharks feasting just 15 miles offshore. The man who captured the moment on his camera couldn't believe his eyes. At first, they thought it was a tuna boil, but as they drew closer, they realized it was a full-on shark party. The water was filled with the frenzy of hungry predators. Who knew the ocean could throw such wild parties? Sunbath. It was 2013 when some tourists aboard a ferry were crossing a small patch of the sea when a passenger on the ferry caught something in the distance ashore. Curious, he grabbed his camera and started recording the moment. He zoomed in, only to know it was something he would never expect. A creature perched on the rocks, half human, half fish, basking in the sunlight. It was no ordinary sighting. It was a bizarre encounter with what appeared to be a mermaid. The internet buzzed with speculation, skeptics and believers alike debating the authenticity of the footage. But one thing's for sure, in the oceans, anything is possible. Megalodon. Researchers in the Mariana Trench caught something unbelievable. For those who don't know about the Mariana Trench, it is the deepest part of the world at almost 11,000 meters. While exploring this part of the ocean, the scientists came across something that they had never seen before. A massive unidentified shark was captured on the camera. The size of this creature was enormous. The size of this shark was estimated by comparing it to the baited cage, and they believed it was about 60 feet long shark, but they couldn't identify the species of this creature. Could it be the legendary Meg? Or we just witnessed another beast of the ocean? Plastic shore. Have you ever seen those videos of the beautiful crystal clear oceans that just look too good to be true? Well, hold on, because here's the flip side of the coin. Have a look at this. In Santo Domingo, someone filmed the beach full of trash.
God.
Waves, not of water, but of plastic trash, crashing against the shores. Yeah, you heard me right. Plastic waves. And let me tell you, it was a wake-up call to all of us. Our actions, our careless tossing of waste, it's all returning to haunt us. Even the ocean was showing signs of weariness. Square waves. In 2015, somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean, some sailors spotted this. Creepy-looking waves. Like a checkerboard come to life. Now, before you think it was just a cool sight to behold, let me stop you right there. These waves, known as box waves, are no joke. They're formed when two seas collide at just the right angle, or due to some funky weather pattern, and they're not just chilling to look at, they're downright dangerous. Yeah, you heard me right. Perpendicular collision equals powerful rip currents and waves that'll have you shaking in your boots. So, if you ever spot these box waves in the ocean, do yourself a favor and hightail to the shore. Trust me, it's not worth the risk. Sinking airplane.
I don't know why, but I feel like that's gonna come in handy one day for me. I'm gonna keep that one stored in the back of my brain because I do like the cruise, you know what I mean? But what can you do if you're out there on a cruise ship and you start seeing those little box waves and everything? You can't really do nothing, but at least I'll know.
Some sailors were cruising through the waves when they witnessed an unbelievable incident, a sinking aeroplane. Now, you'd think it was a tragic sight, right? But wait for the twist. It was all part of a master plan to give Mother Nature a helping hand. Turns out that airplane was being deliberately sunk into the ocean to create a new reef. Today, our oceans are in desperate need of a little TLC, and sinking old planes can do wonders for their health. Who knew that sinking airplanes could be a game changer for our underwater ecosystems? Elephant rescue.
Really?
In 2017, the Sri Lankan naval team was on a routine patrol when suddenly they spotted something in the ocean, an elephant struggling to stay afloat in the middle of the vast ocean, nearly 10 miles from shore. Now, you might be thinking, elephants can swim, and you'd be right, but this poor guy was exhausted. This gentle giant had been swept away while trying to cross the Kalaki Lagoon. Luckily, hope was on the horizon in the form of those trusty sailors. The Navy and Department of Wildlife sprang into action. After 12 long hours of tireless effort, they managed to get the elephant to safety using a tow rope. Invisible barrier. Some tourists were cruising through the open sea, and suddenly they came across a mind-blowing sight, an invisible barrier between two different colored waters, just chilling side by side, like they were keeping each other at arm's length. Now, you might be thinking, what was the deal with that? Well, this mind-boggling sight was all thanks to nature doing its thing. When fresh water from glaciers meets the salty water of the ocean, magic happens. And by
It's like
magic,
the rich area, then the hood. You got the hood over there in the murky looking water, and then you got the little clear water being the richy area.
I mean differences in salinity and densities creating this magnificent phenomenon.
Or salt
Floating
and fresh water,
garden.
however you want to say it.
Now this will have you seeing the ocean in a whole new light. Some sailors were cruising through the Atlantic Ocean when they stumbled upon a spooky sight, a creepy sea patch. But let me tell you, this yellow substance floating on the surface was nothing eerie at all. Nope. It was the sargassum seaweed doing its thing. And this wasn't your average patch of seaweed. Oh no. This one stretched a whopping 5,000 miles long, visible even from space, and weighing in at a staggering 11 million tons. No wonder our oceans are amazing wonders. Yeah, you heard me right, 11 million tons of floating greenery. Get on this. It was a floating garden, a haven for all sorts of marine creatures. Who knew the ocean could hold such wonders? Close encounter.
Oh, holy crap!
A marine biologist was tracking and studying the behavior of sharks beneath the surface. But little did he know, he was about to come face to face with a close encounter of the surreal kind. Out of nowhere, just a foot below him, a great white shark decided to make an appearance. Yeah, you heard right. A great white shark, jaws and all, emerged from the depths and gave him a close encounter. The sheer shock and amazement of coming face to face with such a magnificent creature turned his ordinary day on the water into an unforgettable spectacle.
Oh, holy crap!
Shark surprise. Now, I've got a tale that'll have you thinking twice about your next seaside adventure. A family was on a marine ride on the Maine coast, just enjoying a leisurely day of fishing. Out of nowhere, a mako shark decided to crash the party. Yep, a mako shark, fast and furiously, made a surprise entrance by leaping right into their boat. Well, things got pretty crazy from here when this uninvited guest started thrashing around and caused a mix of excitement and panic on the deck.
That's a shark? That looks like fish. Y'all sure that's a shark?
Situation was pretty unexpected and caught everyone off guard. According to one of the family members, they set out hoping to reel in a decent catch. But instead, this shark decided to make itself an effortless catch. UFO sighting.
Oh.
A couple was on an ocean tour when suddenly they heard a strange noise coming from the sea. Without skipping a beat, the lady whipped out her phone and started recording, and she captured something massive and otherworldly emerging from the water right before their eyes. Now, the internet users wasted no time in chiming in and suggested it was just a feeding frenzy. But wait. What about those mysterious red lights? Could it be a UFO from outer space? Or maybe even a top secret military project? The possibilities are endless.
Color of the money.
Boating with shark.
I'm going the box.
Down under in Aussie's seas, where every fishing trip comes with a side of adrenaline, one fisherman in Port Augusta, South Australia, found himself in the middle of an epic showdown with none other than a huge great white shark. It was November 2022. Just an ordinary day, or so he thought. Our guy was out there chilling in his kayak when suddenly, out of nowhere, this massive shark decided to make a move. And he even managed to catch the whole thing on camera. Indeed, a real-life thriller on the water. Half hammerhead. I bet this will make you think twice about dipping your toes in the ocean. It was August 2022, and an angler was on a fishing trip, casting his line with excitement, when suddenly he felt a strong tug. When he reeled the line in, he found none other than a baby hammerhead shark. Now you might be thinking, "Aw, how cute!" But hold on, because here came the plot twist. This poor little hammerhead had been through the ringer, picked on by a much larger fish, a shark, that ate most of its tail while it was in awful condition. Seemed like there's always a bigger predator lurking in the shadows.
Sorry, buddy, I should have reeled you harder.
Stranded dog.
How?
A poor dog was stranded on a tiny iceberg in the middle of the vast ocean. But fear not, soon some kind-hearted Russian sailors traveling by spotted the furry little guy and knew they couldn't leave him out there all alone. So what did they do? They came up with a genius plan to rescue him. One brave crew member strapped himself with a rope, took a deep breath and dived right in. Swimming up to that tiny iceberg, he grabbed the dog and brought him back to safety of the ship. And just like that, the dog was reunited with all of his friends, who couldn't be happier to have him back. Now that's what I call a feel-good story from the high seas. Ghost ship.
Wow.
I'm afraid to open doors and cabinets.
A group of sailors were enjoying a beautiful trip in the ocean when out of nowhere they spotted something strange. It was a boat drifting aimlessly in the water. Naturally, they thought someone might need their help, so they approached it cautiously. But to their shock, the vessel was completely empty. No sign of life anywhere.
Nah, that's a murder scene. That could be a mob boat or a mob murder scene. Something happened here. They might have rented it, used it, and people might be overboard. They need to try to see if any bodies is down there. That's a murder scene.
Well, no dead bodies. Thank God.
What was even spookier? The anchor was dangling down into the water, reaching a whopping 1,400 feet. They wasted no time in alerting the Coast Guard and wondered if this ship was intentionally abandoned. Perhaps, but what really happened to this eerie ship is a complete mystery. Creepy tentacles. Sometimes outdoor adventures give you encounters that can never be forgotten. Take this for example. A man from Georgia decided to go on a hiking adventure. Little did he know, he was about to witness something truly bizarre. When he approached a beautiful lake in the valley, something caught his eye. 3 long, creepy tentacles started coming out of the water. At first, he thought it might be some sort of plant, but eventually they morphed into something else and started coming toward him. So, what was that? Some sort of creepy lake plants? Or is there any other logical reason for that? Baleen whale. Some divers had ventured into the depths of the ocean, where they witnessed something rare. It was a feeding frenzy like no other. Deep down, at a mind-blowing 11,000 feet, the skeletal remains of a baleen whale were lying on the ocean floor. But here's where it got wild. Eels and octopuses were feeding on it like there was no tomorrow. Even eels, bone-eating acidax worms, were getting in on the action too, extracting lipids from the bones. It was a chilling scene. Who knew even the stuff left over by a whale could support such a wide range of living creatures? Alien creature. In 2019, Vassar Alford was out fishing off the coast of Prince of Wales when suddenly she reeled in something out of the ordinary. And what was this odd-looking spaghetti-like creature, you ask? Well, let me tell you. It was a basket star, a deep-sea dweller that usually hangs out hundreds of feet below the surface. So why did this one decide to make an appearance? Well, not sure about that, but many people believe that she should search our oceans for alien creatures rather than space. Here's another fascinating creature found by a scientist. I'm sure you must have seen many shrimp before, but a transparent one? I doubt you've come across such a marvelous creature. Yaninga Monument. A diver named Karichi Artek was exploring the waters of Yagingi Island in search of hammerhead sharks. But he stumbled upon none other than a peculiar structure that stood out like a sore thumb between the ocean floor. This captivating rock pile was the Yinga Monument, and this bad boy had been puzzling scientists for ages, with its perfect stone carvings and angled terraces suggesting it might have been crafted by an ancient civilization. But not everyone was convinced by this theory. Some reckoned it was just a marvel of nature, formed by weathering and erosion. So what are your thoughts on this? Tell me in the comments section. Rare shark. Whoa. A diver was exploring the mysterious underwater world when suddenly he spotted a rare sight. A small goblin shark hooked and struggling in the shadows below. It was like stumbling onto a secret world, right there beneath the waves. Now, our diver did a double take, because let's face it, seeing a creature like that was like finding a living relic from the deep. The scene underwater must have been intense, with this rare shark finding a whole new dimension to the dive. It was the kind of discovery that would make you feel like you're in the middle of an epic underwater saga.
Bro, he won't let...
Oldest shipwreck. In 2018, some scientists were diving deep into the Black Sea, armed with some seriously high-tech gear. And what did they find? Only the oldest fully intact shipwreck in the whole wide world. This marvel was dated all the way back to around 500 BC, making it a whopping 2,500 years old.
Check for gold.
Wait, it got even cooler. Turns out this ship might have even been depicted on an ancient vase. And it was not alone down there. There was a whole fleet of 72 shipwrecks just chilling at the bottom of the sea. Finding these relics wasn't just about discovering cool old stuff, it was about piecing together the puzzle of ancient history. Now
history is the second thought. The first thought for them is always, can they find some type of gold or treasure on there? Don't let them fool you.
It's time for the open discussion. Some daring sailors were braving the icy waters of Antarctica. As they navigated through the frozen expanse, they suddenly spotted something ominous on the horizon. A towering wave was rising like a titan from the depths. Panic set in as they realized the enormity of the threat before them. It was super intense. The wave was right there, and it was about to swallow them up. but by some miracle they managed to get away. So what triggered this crazy wave? Well, they found out later that it was caused by a massive iceberg that was hiding out beneath the surface. It just went to show how powerful and unpredictable the Antarctica can be.